So picture this. You're sitting at your desk, staring at your laptop screen. You're on a Zoom call, and a coworker just said something incredibly passive-aggressive that completely undermines your entire project.
Oh, yeah, we have all definitely been there.
Right. And instantly, your chest tightens. Your breathing gets really shallow, and your heart is just pounding against your ribs like a jackhammer.
Exactly. It's a full-blown physical reaction.
Yeah. Biologically speaking, in that exact moment, your autonomic nervous system is fully preparing your body to fight off like a 9,000-pound T-Rex.
Which is pretty extreme for a Tuesday afternoon meeting.
Totally. Because the reality is you're just sitting in an ergonomic mesh chair in your home office. You're probably wearing sweatpants, staring at a webcam. You're geared up to survive a deadly predator, but you aren't moving an inch.
Not an inch.
So the mission of our deep dive today, based on the concepts from Dr. Joe Dispenza, is really figuring this out. How do you turn off a survival system that in this completely stationary context is physically destroying you from the inside out?
It's such an important question because it is, well, it's the ultimate modern paradox.
Right.
We live in a world where we constantly try to predict and control our material environment. But we're walking around with this ancient, finely tuned survival machinery.
And it's confused.
Completely confused. Instead of being triggered by a rustling bush on the savannah, it's being triggered by an email or a looming deadline or, like you said, a snarky comment on a video call.
And the body doesn't know the difference, does it?
No, it doesn't. That mismatch between what the body is preparing to do and what is actually happening in the room creates this profound biological chaos.
Wow.
When you perceive a threat, whether it's literal or figurative, your sympathetic nervous system just kicks into high gear.
It's the fight or flight response, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You get a massive rush of adrenaline. Glucose is instantly mobilized to give your muscles this huge infusion of explosive energy.
Okay, so you're basically loaded up with rocket fuel.
You are. And blood is physically shunted away from your internal organs and sent straight to your extremities so you can run or fight or hide.
Which, I mean, that makes perfect evolutionary sense. If you were actually sprinting across a field, you need that blood in your legs.
Absolutely.
But here is that Zoom call paradox again. You have all this physical energy coursing through your veins, but you are completely stationary.
Just sitting there.
Yeah. I keep thinking about this mechanically, actually. Okay, let's unpack this. It's like climbing into a high-performance sports car, throwing it in park inside a tiny, enclosed, unventilated garage, and just mashing the accelerator to the red line.
That is a terrifying visual, but yeah, it's very accurate.
Right. You're creating massive heat, deafening noise, terrible wear and tear on the engine, but you aren't actually going anywhere.
And that mechanical wear and tear, it's highly measurable in the human body.
Really? How so?
Well, because you aren't physically running, your heart is essentially pumping against a restricted closed system. You are stepping on the biological gas pedal, which is the adrenaline.
Okay.
And you're stepping on the brake pedal, which is your stationary posture, at the exact same time.
Look out, gas and brake at the same time.
Right. And when you do that, your heart doesn't just beat faster. It beats completely erratically.
Like out of rhythm.
Yes, the rhythm loses its natural variability and just goes out of order. We call this heart incoherence.
Heart incoherence. And incoherence isn't just a metaphor here, right? I mean, it's an actual physics term.
It is pure physics. So think about how waves behave. When waveforms are incoherent, their peaks and their valleys don't align.
They clash.
Exactly. They crash into each other, they interfere, and they literally cancel each other out.
Wait, they cancel each other out?
Yes. And when waves cancel each other out, the total energy of the system drops. So when you are sitting there feeling resentment or impatience, harsh judgment, deep frustration.
All the classic office emotions.
Right, all of those.
Wow.
Those aren't just abstract psychological moods. They are literal physical states causing destructive wave interference in your chest. The energy literally drains from your heart.
That reframes stress completely for me. It's an actual energy leak.
A massive one, yeah.
But it doesn't just stay in the chest, does it? There is a massive psychological shift that happens when we redline the engine like this.
Oh, for sure.
Because according to Dr. Joe Dispenza's research, we become what he calls materialists.
We do. And again, it goes right back to that survival biology. If a T-Rex is actively hunting you, you absolutely must be a materialist.
Because you have to survive the physical world.
Exactly. Your brain goes into this hyper-alert state where you narrow your focus entirely onto the 3D physical world.
Just scanning for danger.
Right. You become obsessed with your physical body, the immediate environment, like scanning for a rock to hide behind. And you obsess over time, as in how many seconds before I get eaten.
Wow. Okay. So your attention has to be strictly on matter.
It has to be, yes.
But translate that to the office environment.
Mm.
When you are stuck in that hyper-alert state at your desk, you end up shifting your attention wildly from one physical thing to another, right?
Yes, constant.
You obsess over a person, and then a problem, then a specific meeting. Then you're staring at the time on the clock. You are frantically scanning the 3D world for threats that you can't punch or run away from.
And because of that fixation, you basically become a victim to however the 3D world plays out.
You're just reacting.
Exactly. You're reacting to your environment instead of creating it. You're trapped.
Okay, so my heart is erratically beating against a closed system. It's draining my energy, and my brain is hyperfixated on all my material problems.
Yep, that's the state.
How do I take my foot off the gas pedal? I mean, if my environment is screaming at me to panic, how do I force a shift over to the parasympathetic nervous system, the one responsible for rest and repair?
So the biological gateway to that shift isn't actually the brain.
Wait, really?
No, it's the heart. You have to intentionally cultivate specific elevated emotions.
Like what kind of emotions?
Things like profound gratitude, appreciation, kindness, caring, or inspiration.
Just feeling those can change the biology.
Experiencing those specific emotions physically alters the rhythm of the heart. The erratic, wave-canceling chaos just stops.
Wow.
The heart begins to beat in a beautiful, coherent rhythm, almost like the steady, rhythmic beating of a drum.
Or like dropping pebble after pebble into water, creating those perfect ripples.
That's a great way to picture it. As those waves align, they stop canceling each other out and they start building, which actually causes the heart to emit a measurable external magnetic field.
Okay, hold on. I need to challenge this a bit because I think most of us assume the brain is the absolute monarch of the body, right?
It's a very common assumption.
Yeah, like if I'm stressed, my brain panics first, and my heart is just a dumb mechanical pump that's speeding up because the brain yelled go. Are you saying the heart can act as the commanding officer here?
I am. Biology actually tells a very different story than what we're used to. The heart and brain communicate via a two-way street, specifically through afferent neural pathways. In fact, the heart sends significantly more neurological signals up to the brain than the brain sends down to the heart.
Wait, the heart talks to the brain more than the brain talks to the heart.
Yes. When you drop your attention into the heart and you intentionally shift into gratitude, that coherent rhythm acts as a biological reset button.
It resets the whole system.
Right. The heart literally sends a localized physical signal up to the brain that basically says, the past is over, you are no longer under threat, it is safe to create.
That completely flips the hierarchy.
Yeah.
So instead of trying to outthink a stressful situation with a panicked brain, which never works for me, by the way.
It never works for anyone, yeah.
You change the rhythm of the heart to physically force the brain to stand down. I was trying to visualize how this energy travels from the chest to the head. It actually makes me think of plucking a guitar string.
Oh, I like that. How so?
Well, if you pluck the thickest string at the very bottom of the neck, that vibration physically travels up the solid wood of the instrument, and it forces the air inside the sound hole to resonate at that exact same frequency.
That is a phenomenal mechanical way to look at it. The heart is basically plucking the coherent string, and the brain is forced to resonate with it.
Wow.
Because when you are stressed, your brain is operating in what is called a high beta brainwave state.
High beta.
Right. High beta is that erratic, highly aroused, anxious, very narrow focused state. It is essentially a biological lightning storm.
Just flashes of panic everywhere.
Exactly. Different compartments of your brain are firing entirely out of order.
It's just chaos up there.
Pure chaos.
Yeah.
But when that coherent frequency travels up from the heart, it downregulates the brain. It forces it to shift out of high beta and drop down into an alpha brainwave state.
And we should definitely define what that actually feels like, because just listing Greek letters doesn't really help anyone.
Good point.
Alpha is that state where you stop obsessing over the physical environment and you start seeing in pictures and internal images.
Yes, exactly.
It's like that moment you catch yourself staring out the window, completely lost in a creative thought, detached from the stress of the room.
Right.
You're imagining instead of reacting.
Spot on. Your internal world becomes more real than the external world. But it doesn't stop there.
Oh, it goes further.
Yeah. If you can sustain that coherence, if you keep plucking that guitar string in the heart, the brain waves form incredibly complex patterns of order. They begin to create harmonics, literally stacking on top of one another.
Okay, here is where it gets really interesting. Let's map this harmonic stacking out experientially because this progression is just wild to me.
It really is amazing.
So the research shows that delta waves begin to carry theta waves. Let's start there. Delta waves are the incredibly slow waves your brain usually only produces when you are in a deep, dreamless, almost coma-like sleep. And theta waves are slightly faster. That's that weird, fuzzy, hypnotic state right before you fall asleep on the couch or right as you're waking up.
Yes. And those slow waves form the foundation of the stack. Then theta carries alpha, which, as we said, is that relaxed creative imagination state.
Got it.
Alpha then carries beta, which is your normal waking consciousness, like how you are listening to this right now.
Okay.
Beta carries high beta, the analytical waves. And finally, sitting at the very top of this entire stack, high beta carries gamma waves.
Okay, wait. I have to push back here. If delta is deep, unconscious sleep, and gamma is what, like hyperlucidity?
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
Superconsciousness.
Right. How can my brain be producing the deep sleep wave and the superconscious wave at the exact same time without me just passing out at my desk?
Because they aren't fighting each other, they are harmonizing.
Harmonizing.
Yes. Think of a perfectly tuned symphony orchestra. You don't just have violins playing.
Right, that would be pretty thin.
You have the massive, slow vibrations of the upright basses and the tubas. That's your delta and theta. They provide the deep rhythmic foundation.
Okay, I can hear that.
Layered perfectly on top of that, playing in the exact same key and tempo, are the cellos and violas. Those are your alpha and beta.
Nice.
And soaring over the top of all of it, carrying the intricate melody, are the flutes and the violins, your gamma waves.
So gamma really is that superconscious state.
Yes. When gamma waves are present in this way, you experience a state of profound super-awareness. Every single brainwave frequency is working in resonance.
That sounds incredible.
It is. You go from the fragmented, out-of-order lightning storm of high beta stress to this elegant, unified symphony of energy.
Yeah.
You are highly alert, incredibly creative, but deeply biologically grounded.
The contrast between those two states is just staggering. And honestly, it makes me wonder about the long-term cost.
What do you mean?
Well, what happens to the person who never learns to tune the orchestra? The person who just stays in that chaotic high beta lightning storm day after day.
The physiological toll is immense. We call it autonomic dysregulation.
Dysregulation.
Right. Your autonomic nervous system is the master controller for all your bodily functions. When your brain is firing out of order in high beta, everything downstream goes completely out of balance.
Because the body thinks it's dying.
Exactly. Remember, your body thinks a predator is constantly in the room.
Right, so the downstream effects must be severe. I mean, if I'm running from a T-Rex, my body absolutely does not care about digesting the sandwich I just ate for lunch.
Precisely. Blood flow is physically shunted away from the stomach, so digestive juices literally shut down.
Wow.
Blood flow also remains heavily concentrated in the hindbrain, which is the primitive, reactive survival center of the brain, rather than the forebrain, where your logical, creative, and executive functions live.
Because you literally become emotionally reactive and unable to think clearly.
You do. You lose your higher cognitive functions.
And what about the immune system? Does that take a hit too?
Oh, it dials way, way down. The body's logic is very simple here. Why spend precious energy fighting a microscopic virus that might make you sick in 2 weeks when you need all your energy to survive the predator trying to kill you in 2 seconds?
That makes terrifying sense.
It does. Even long-term biological projects like cellular repair or reproductive functions, they are completely halted. The organism slowly weakens itself, all because it cannot escape the perception of a threat.
Okay, the stakes are undeniably high here. We know the biology of the chaos. We know the immense physical cost of staying in it. And we know the biology of that superconscious gamma harmony that we want to reach.
Yes.
So let's get incredibly practical. How do you, the listener, actually make this shift in real time? I mean, I'm sitting at my desk, my heart is racing. How do I move from the lightning storm to the symphony?
The practical transition requires doing something that goes against every single biological survival instinct you have.
Of course it does.
Naturally. When you are stressed, your instinct is to focus harder and harder on the physical material world to try and force a solution.
Right. You want to fix the problem immediately.
But to achieve coherence, you have to do the exact opposite. You have to take your attention completely off the physical and material world.
I have to stop you there because, I mean, that sounds Completely impossible for a normal person to do on a Tuesday afternoon.
It sounds hard, I know.
My boss is demanding an answer, my inbox is full, and you're telling me the solution to my stress is to just stop thinking about my physical reality. That sounds like dissociation. How do I just become no one?
It really isn't dissociation. It's a deliberate relocation of attention.
Relocation, okay.
Dissociation is shutting down. This is opening up. But you are right. It requires a radical act of letting go. You have to stop thinking about your family, your coworkers, your cell phone, your car.
Everything.
Everything. You have to stop thinking about the place you work, the chair you were sitting in, and even your own physical body.
We literally have to lose track of space.
Space and time. You have to stop agonizing over the predictable future, like what you have to do next, and stop ruminating on the familiar past, what just happened yesterday.
That is a tall order.
The research describes this state beautifully, actually. You have to become nobody, no one, no thing, nowhere, and no time.
So practically, how? I can't just tell my brain, hey, stop thinking about the email. I mean, the harder I try not to think about the email, the more I think about the email.
And that's exactly why you don't fight the thought. You change the spatial focus.
Change the spatial focus.
Yes. This is where the neuroscience gets really fascinating. When you narrow your focus on a physical object or a specific problem, you activate the default mode network in your brain.
The default mode network.
Right. That network is responsible for your ego, your sense of self, your worries, and that constant running internal monologue that won't shut up.
Oh, I know that monologue very well.
We all do. But when you take your focus off of known physical things and instead shift to a broadened, expansive focus, when you intentionally focus on nothing, on empty space.
You force a shift in blood flow.
Wait, really? Just trying to sense empty space actually moves blood in the brain.
It does. When you try to sense the empty space around you, your brain's spatial and sensory processing centers are activated. You are literally pulling energy and blood flow away from the default mode network and forcing it into sensory networks.
It is amazing.
Your analytical mind physically cannot sustain its ruminating loop about tomorrow's deadline while it is dedicating its computing power to calculating the volume of the empty room.
Wow. Okay, let's test this right now. If you're listening to this, try it. Look away from your phone or your monitor. Don't look at the wall. Try to focus your attention entirely on the empty air between your face and the wall.
Just sense the volume of it.
Right. Try to feel the volume of that empty space. When you do that, you can almost feel your internal monologue stutter and halt. It's like the analyzing brain just hits the brakes. Because it has to. It literally doesn't have the energy to do both. And in that moment, as the analysis stops, your brain waves naturally begin to slow down from that chaotic high beta into alpha.
That is so elegant.
It is. That elegant moment when you successfully shift from being a somebody trapped in a physical problem to a nobody sensing empty space is a critical threshold.
You just cross over.
You are no longer aware of the three-dimensional world because you simply have zero attention on it. Dr. Dispenza refers to this moment of becoming pure consciousness as passing through the eye of the needle.
The eye of the needle. Man, I love the imagery there. Because to fit through the eye of a needle, you can't bring any luggage.
Exactly. Nothing fits.
You have to strip off all your material attachments, your identity, your worries about time, and your physical environment. To leave the 3D world behind just to slip through that tiny opening and access that gamma state of superconsciousness.
And this is exactly why it matters so deeply. It is the ultimate liberation from stress.
Because you're just out of the game.
Right. As long as you are trapped in that survival state, you are just matter trying to change matter. You are playing by the brutal, exhausting rules of the 3D world, shifting your attention wildly from problem to problem, completely depleted.
And it never ends.
Never. Passing through the eye of the needle allows you to escape being a victim to your environment. You elevate above the biology of survival, and you move into the biology of creation.
So, to pull all of this together, when we live as stressed-out materialists, constantly scanning our environment for threats that aren't really there, our heart beats erratically against a closed system.
Yep, the gas and the brake.
Right. It creates that wave-canceling chaos that drains our energy and it traps our brain in a frantic, narrow-focused lightning storm, literally shutting down our digestion and our immunity.
That's the high beta trap.
But by intentionally cultivating an emotion like gratitude and radically shifting our attention to empty space, we pluck that coherent guitar string in the chest.
Beautifully said.
The heart's rhythm smooths out. It sends a powerful physical signal up the neural pathways, and it tells the brain the threat is gone. It is safe to create.
And once that signal is received and the default mode network goes quiet, our brain waves elegantly stack into that harmonic symphony. Delta, theta, alpha, beta, and gamma.
The full orchestra.
We ride that wave all the way up into superconsciousness. And, the most empowering part of this entire framework is that you carry this machinery with you everywhere.
It's always there.
Yes. The next time you are on a frustrating Zoom call and you feel that sudden spike of T-Rex adrenaline, you don't have to be a victim to that chemical rush.
You can opt out.
Exactly. You have the precise biological tools to take your attention off the screen, step completely out of space and time, and entirely reset your physical reality.
Which leaves us with one final provocative thought to mull over today.
Yeah.
If our deepest biological stress, the very thing that degrades our health, locks up our brain and drains our energy, comes from the futile attempt to constantly predict and control every little detail of the 3D material world.
Is it possible that true, ultimate control is only achieved by entirely surrendering our attachment to it?